Hey, how's it going? I have some cards, and there are some that I pulled over the weekend, and hold on, I need to adjust my situation here. So I pulled them over the weekend, and I mentioned in my last video that I was just going to let them stew, because they definitely had a theme, but there was not really context. So they are from the Shaman's Dream Oracle deck. And the first one I pulled was Netcaster. And it's a little hard to see when they have all this light in them being like depicted, and then a bunch of white on top of it. So you really have to, you almost have to like leave it to your imagination to get details from the illustrations that are like that in this deck, for me. So, there's a woman standing there, and, you know, at different times it looks like she's wearing a bikini and, like, a skirt, and you can see that she's got, like, her arms coming down from her shoulders here, and she's holding this net, or this piece of barely visible, not, like, fabric, mesh, because that's what a net is, kind of, and, the subtitle on this card is Preparations Come to Fruition. So the basic tone I was getting from the spread is that it's very female oriented, and also in like the capability of what women can do with whatever they have, be it a lot or a little. And so this woman is out, you know, standing next to a body of water, and she's going to catch whatever gets caught up in the net, and it could be a fish, it could be, you know, some kind of freshwater shellfish, or she could be at the shore. You know, especially with the ocean, the multitude of things that you could possibly catch just floating past in a net. Well, I mean, it depends. Like, you just don't know what you're going to get. And so when you do get your catch and pull it in, you have to adapt to it. Like, maybe it's something that you wouldn't or can't eat, but you can sell it to someone who can. Or it has another purpose, and you could sell it or trade it for what you need, like if food was the thing you need. But, you know, this... to me, if you're out, like, using a net to catch your food, your resources are not great. You're working with pretty basic tools, but I almost feel like we need a return to that, because technology and knowing so much has made us kind of stupid with really basic things. So, the next card I pulled is Dragon's Horde, and I've been watching some videos that are kind of based on theology. It's not really religion, because it's sort of deconstructing what's presented to you in a formulaic religion. You know, like when you have dogma, then it's kind of rigid, and life kind of squirms when it's confined, and it doesn't always conform the way you want it to. So the videos I've been watching have been about Mary, Mother Mary, Mary Magdalene, Sophia, which, the way these videos are describing it, Sophia is more than a woman or a goddess, but more like an idea that male or female could take it on. But the world we live in, like, it's such the man's world, where it's like the idea of having feminine qualities at all, regardless of what they might represent, is kind of looked down upon by men. And because it's like a societal norm, women too, like, we just get like washed into these ideas. But one of the things that they've been talking about, they also talk about Lilith, who has been cast as just this villain, when really, all the way I understand it, from like all of the different angles that I've been reading about the Lilith character or person, as much as like Eve, it was that Eve was compliant and didn't make waves. Lilith was like, I don't want to do that. I want to go over here and do my thing. I don't care if I'm with you or not. I just, like, she was non-compliant. So that didn't work in the eyes of many in the man's world of, like, biblical times. And also now, like, there was some freedom for a while. Women were allowed to have, like, liberation and sort of like grow into whatever feminism is, and now it's like not being accepted well. It's not going over well with the men. They want the trad wife or the quiet woman that is like compliant and doesn't complain and takes a beating and just puts makeup on over and just denies that the reason behind it that in reality. So dragons were attached to the power of these women, and then also it sort of aligns with the spiritual idea of Kundalini being a serpent. And so dragons too have been sort of repurposed and repackaged the same way the earliest feminine figures have been. And they're all, except for Eve, who did everything whatever until she just was curious, and they say a serpent talked to her. But what it was, my understanding of what I've been seeing, is that the serpent is that power like Kundalini inside of us, and it's in particular alignment with this part of the feminine spirit that's been suppressed and mischaracterized. I'm sorry, I'm gonna say it, damn it, for like centuries. And so these videos have been talking about women coming into their power, which means realignment with this serpent energy and this dragon energy. So I'm now looking at this Dragon's Hoard card from a new perspective. And the dragon is the hoard and hoarding of this energy that of the divine feminine that we can embody and that we possess, that we just need to develop and like not have suppressed, and then have like the Lilith and the rebellious spirit, I guess, of Lilith, and then like the all-knowing sort of knowledge of Sophia. There's just like people, there's all of these sort of shades to our character, like all of these different versions of us. And I feel like that's what's contained in the hoard, and it's what that serpent Kundalini energy spirit of the divine feminine, that is what I feel like it's all referring to. So the subtitle on this card is Protecting the Future. It's interesting because I've been seeing Linda G, the Comanche psychic, talking about how in Iran particularly, the women who have been so held down and suppressed to where it was like America there in the 70s, and then changes happened, and a lot of them happened as a result of U.S. interference with their government. But that's a story for a different video. But Linda was saying that is one of the places where the female population is going to have an uprising, and she even saw it like them coming up from underground. And to me, that was like plant growth, like very feminine energy, very Gaia, and healing, because they, in Iran and other places in the world, there's a lot of oppression and suppression, and it's like women, the message has been coming through, like I've been hearing it, I've been seeing it, I've been feeling it myself, like it's the angry woman. I've talked about it before, and we're angry because we're not going to just be suppressed and kept underground and, not allowed to be ourselves. And so the next card is Heart Home. More blinding bright light, but that is actually a good thing. Like, I associate the light and the especially the warming light, like yellow and orange, as positivity, and I think that's pretty generally known, like accepted. And the subtitle on here is compassion, and that it has to be the divine feminine influence on the change, like what we're seeing right now with wars starting and things. It just makes it very aggressive and a clash. And it's been going on for so long, and for a while I've been saying, are we done yet? Like, can we move into the next phase of things? So it seems like this aggressive man's world male energy is sort of coming to some kind of crescendo, but also when it gets there, it seems like it's kind of falling apart, and it can't do, thankfully, what it's out to do, like remake the Soviet Union or bring back Nazi Germany or slavery in America. It's like all of these things are trying to like resurface, and I am feeling like the growth of the females, the growth from underground, like the uprising of the feminine energy, like we're done with that. That is not conducive to growth in life, and just like crushing people's spirits is not either. So no mother wants you like holding their child down so that they can't rise and grow. And yeah, so we are rebuilding and remembering and helping everybody else remember that there is a compassionate heart home that we all can be a part of if we stop shoving it away and accepting like bad situations. And so the next card is Beloved, and it's a blazing heart, and you got to kind of have that to have gone through what, I'm not saying that other people and genders and cultures don't go through it. I'm just talking about women right now. And like we have held it together and do hold it together, and by it I mean lives and homes, and you know, we end up doing it all. And you know, they being like sort of the male entity in the equation wants to like shove women back out and minorities back out and make it for only a very narrow group of people. And it's like, that's not going to support everything else, and you just can't get rid of like everybody and everything the way they're trying to do. It's too gargantuan a job, and it shouldn't happen anyway. Like, it's just wrong. What we need to do is develop what the subtitle of this card is, and that is radical acceptance. And that's what a mother does. That's what a nurturing spirit does, and that's very feminine. And it's also something that we have to learn that can be taught from we women, you know, and feminine people that are in touch, that aren't women, but people, men or whatever, that are in touch with their feminine side, that makes them amenable to making a transition from being a thug to someone that's a helper. And the next card is Perfect Storm. Boy, this has been coming up like every time now, but this time I don't see it as like this doomed to fail disaster of a boat ride like the movie. This is like what's happening now, like all kinds of structures that no one is expecting to like implode and, you know, collapse upon themselves. That's what's happening. And it's scary because it's shaking us out of what we're used to. Like, I just watched a couple of videos yesterday and today about mass layoffs at like Google and Intel and other places. And that's frightening for a lot of people. I understand, because I just went through a big thing after a couple of months that culminated, and I almost thought I was losing like everything. And I got help after asking for it and getting a bad reaction. I got no offers of help, and I was not ever asking for money. I just needed some advice and to be pointed in a direction that was going to be helpful. And so I did finally get the help I needed, which is great. I'm so happy and I'm so grateful. But these people that just got laid off by like the 5-digit thousands, that's like populations of cities and things. And so that's going to be a lot of people that don't have a job to go back to. And then it's going to be all these people at once hitting the job market. And the job market is not in good shape already, because look at how many people are on like Substack and YouTube and TikTok and you name it, social media site, trying to make their living there. That is the perfect storm of like what was perfect and normal that we were used to is just collapsing, and we have to find it within ourselves and take from our stores of the dragon horde and be creative and adaptable to the situation that is ongoing and changing. Like right now, like we're just in the middle of it. And that's a lot of people at once. That's a lot of energy of, ooh, shoot, what am I going to do? And the situation is so fluid that we just can't really even know what's coming. And so, like the subtitle on this card, we have to have the courage to step into life with a renewed vigor and enthusiasm. And for like, who knows what's coming? And instead of being gloom and doom about it, it's hard. I know. Like, it's real easy to exhaust. You know, like, well, I can do this. Oh, no, I can't. Oh, how about this? Oh, no, I can't. Well, how about this? No, shoot, not that either. Or I have to wait till I can do that. But in the meantime, so it's like very daunting. Like, this is a foreboding looking picture, but it is change happening. Like, and that's what we're in the midst of. And then eventually, you know, it is a very feminine nature to gather in and collect strays or bring in the family or just go help like the family where someone passed away and you know they need help around the house because they're too broken to like do that properly. And you can't feel that great and heal if you're in a mess, kind of. So it's good when someone can come in and help. But eventually, people get to feeling better and more confident. And the goal, eventually, is, you know, like nirvana. You want to get to the happy place. And that's what I feel like this represents. After all kinds of struggle and questioning and fear and all kinds of anger and things that are in the negative fear column, you know, working together and achieving something that we can all agree on that makes us all happy and fulfilled as much as can be for the multitudes of different people and what they need. We can and have gotten to a place that is pretty good for everyone, and that's what I feel like we're headed for. It's going to be what's the best for all of us, instead of, especially lately, what we have been having. So I feel like in the future we will be in the Garden of Venus, and that was well, that's a different video, but never mind. The Garden of Venus, and the subtitle is Rest and Renewal. After all that struggle and just questioning of everything, we can look forward to finding ourselves in paradise. That's it. I'm getting low on storage, so I don't know how much longer or how many more videos I'm going to be able to do. Thank you and good night. Until I get paid again next month. Bye.